a bag of grilled chicken I have with me, you know, or a banana, like, because we all know, you know, you're on a road trip, you go to the gas station, you know, it's your choice between peanut butter cups, which I love, or Cheez-Its, which I still love. So,
Exactly.
you never, yeah, and that's another thing is you know, you're constantly battling those things. You know, like room service last night, I ordered, you know, a Caesar, but I also ordered like the fried calamari just because I want it there. And then you eat like 2 pieces. This is something I do, right? I'll order something, whether it's a dessert or whatever. And I like having it there and knowing I can have it, and then I'll eat like 1 bite or whatever, and then I just push it aside, and then I know that I don't.
That's like me at Target. I put everything in, and then I get to the restaurant.
Same idea. It's like just knowing I can have it, and you tell me I can't, then I'm going to punch you and order a whole one.
Exactly.
You know, I'll give you a whole cheesecake.
It's just that, like, you know, let me just see it, let me touch it, and then I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good again.
I think we're going to take some questions from the audience. We have about 10 minutes, so if you have a question, put your hand up, and Lloyd will come around with that microphone. Hi.
Hi.
Hello?
There we go.
Since you're a chef and that you've gone through this, have you thought about putting out a cookbook or maybe, I don't know?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm working on my first cookbook right now, but we definitely want to do something related to that. And I think that it's so it's such a turnoff to hear the words like nutrition and health and stuff like that. And I know just because, you know, I've dealt with the weight issues for 2 decades. When I hear that stuff, it's immediately like I don't want to eat a giant bowl of quinoa, you know, or whatever. Like it's just nasty. So that's why I went with that whole like pure flavor thing. And again, everything is marketing and how to sell your idea. And like I love politics, so I love watching politicians at every party and how they get the spin across and do things. And I think the same thing. Like, you know, there's people that are at home watching the show or you know, dealing with their own demons and how they eat, and people want to eat better. Nobody wants to just accept, you know, how they are in life. And so if I can get the idea across that it's all about deliciousness and here's how you do it, you know, it's just as tasty to do it this way as that way. And maybe you can have this but in a smaller portion. And one thing that I love is not talking about what you can eat, but like what you should be forced to eat. You know, eat 5 green things today, and here's 20 different options.
We like guidelines, we like directions.
Yeah, exactly. But and I'm the same thing. I love, you know, having those systems and structure. So, and it's this perverse passion of seeing like the green exit sign and thinking asparagus, green beans, you know, everything that's green. And so I can come up with 100 ideas of food based on that.
We like simple, just saying.
No, I know. That's
because
what I
once
mean.
it gets complicated, you lost me after the
Our
first
restaurant right now, every dish is like based on 3 ingredients.
Oh my
God. 3 simple things. So, like I said, like shaved fennel salad with a beautiful piece of, you know, pork cooked on top, and like a simple watermelon salsa. You can make it in 10 minutes, and it's delicious, and it's
like
almost all
too.
protein.
Right? We like fast.
Yeah, so that idea is, you know, if I can put that across, like this is what I like to eat, this is how I do it, this is what I cook, try it out, and get rid of a lot of those words that I think people see and are immediately turned off by, then it can be fun.
Yes, it's not going to say bariatric on the front. Yeah.
No,
you have to leave this is your cookbook, though.
No, I mean, but it could be, and you know, but I think it's just those words that people see, like, that are just immediately turned off.
You're tuned in.
Yeah.
Do we have another question? Oh, yeah.
With the stigma that bariatric patients get all the time, have you ever heard of or approached a producer about having a, not necessarily strictly bariatric food show, but, or if it's on, you know, MasterChef, having an episode that does highlight what it is that we actually go through. And with that, you know, saying that, you know, these are the meals that are beneficial to everybody, because obviously if everybody did eat like a bariatric patient, all of us would be a lot healthier. But coming up with some sort of aspect of a cooking show, because there is nothing out there. You do see the other chefs, I don't want to specifically name them, but just so, you know, it's not just us, but I think it would be awesome for me to be able to, record a show and actually see, there is more than just a protein shake, a piece of chicken, and.
There's cooking show for vegans, there's cooking show for diabetics, there's cooking
There's a gluten-free one coming in a week. No, but we just actually spoke about that earlier, about having an episode based on weight loss and eating healthy, and having our guest judge come in and taste and discuss the pros and cons of it. So I think that absolutely it's something that would resonate with people, because I think half the population is battling the weight issues. So that would absolutely be a smart idea. And also, I've fixed the show called Meltdown, which is weight loss mixed with cooking, and I won't give you the whole deal, but you can get an understanding. You take people that are obese that also cook. In cooking school right now, the number of people that are enrolling that are overweight, you look at the chef code sizes, and they're 3x for it. So people are drawn to that cooking lifestyle now, and it's okay. How do you? If you're going to be a chef, you can help control the dialogue of eating healthy, and so you're responsible almost for that. So how do you start leading by example and doing it? And so I think that that's something that I'm sure will eventually happen.
Question next.
Hi, I have two quick questions. One is, at the end of the day, how do you deal with stress? What is your coping mechanism? Is it the running? And the second question is, do you cook for your kids and your family?
I do cook for my kids and my family. My wife cooks more, and she is all about the organic, food dye-free.
You don't judge the food, do you? Because
I don't at all.
Yeah,
I think that I judge every, like they don't want to cook for it. It's just like, are you kidding?
so she doesn't serve you like.
Her thing now is trying to find ways to secretly put healthy things into the food. So she'll make,
For you or the kids?
For the kids. Yeah. No, and
That's what I do with my husband. I'm curating the carrots.
that's what she does. So it's carrot sauce, this, juice, whatever, and then puts it in food. But I think as they get older, they're excited. And I was always into food. Like in the Philippines, I got to eat, dog and monkey, and then I got to go catch squid and
on my list.
It's in the cookbook. No, I'm kidding. But I'm just saying, if you're into food, you don't judge because, somebody has a pet pig in one country and then we eat it, and then we have a pet dog and they eat it. So there's no, right or wrong, I guess. But, I was always in love with cool food, like escargot. Oh my God, I get to eat a snail that's badass. Let's do it. So I tried to get my kids to the same idea. So we had squid and pasta the other night. And I think we love superhero pasta. This is the bad guy Venom from Spider-Man. Let's eat it.
Spaghetti squash, the one you can just...
Exactly. Yeah. But if you put tomato sauce on top and some grated Parmesan, it looks like
we love it.
ice cream, with the strawberry sauce and white chocolate.
But see, that's effort. You got to put some effort into it.
Right.
Spaghetti.
But nothing is easy,
But we want easy. Why can't it just be easy?
It can be easy and delicious and simple. Or you put that in the
That's
oven
the
and then cook
book, right?
itself.
Easy, delicious. That's the name. Easy, delicious, and simple.
Okay, next question.
How do you deal with stress?
Oh, stress.
Oh, how do I deal with stress?
And you talk to your wife, I'm assuming.
Exactly.
And what else?
I think music is a huge one for me. There's nothing more important than play, I don't think, than music. That is just everything.
Okay.
And I still play. I love it.
And what type of music?
Whatever the mood calls for.
Favorite,
There's too many now. I think.
That's like naming your favorite dish.
Yeah, kind of. Because I love indie rock, I love emo and punk, and now I like different things to motivate me to run. And I love the most obscure band, and I'm that really snotty guy where it's as soon as you start listening to it, then I don't like it. And I judge you. And I hated Led Zeppelin and these other bands because everyone had that T-shirt in high school and now I'm just starting to accept it. I'm like, oh, they're really good. But I'm not going to tell them. But my wife is on it, and it's just what's on the radio? Oh, Beyonce, and she'll sing and dance to every song, and I'm just but I'll try to support you.
I love it. Okay, question right here.
It's so exciting to see you here.
Oh, thanks, I love you.
I wanted to ask two questions. With the other chefs on the show, it seemed like you were sampling seafood, the healthier things. Do you have an agreement between them on what foods you when you try the desserts? Were you?
It's the magic of editing. All three of us have to try every single dish.
Okay.
So sometimes just for the sake of time, it'll be one try that and then the next try this. But all three of us have to try everything, and then we discuss around that. So
And then we also, I've noticed many of us talk about things we used to like that we don't like anymore, and vice versa. Has your palate changed?
A lot of people told me, oh, your taste buds might change, and that didn't happen to me. But the things that I used to go to for comfort, bread especially, pasta, I would eat a pound box of pasta.
What is it about that?
I don't know, but I mean, that was really, and also, what was interesting with what my surgeon told me, and again, and I never want to seem like, oh, it's an excuse, but he told me that when they took my stomach out, it was larger than usual, so I don't know if that has something to do, but it wasn't just eating bad food, it was quantity for me. It's all about, having to eat a lot of stuff.
I think that was
to
the
make me
comfort
full,
of
so.
many of us, quantity and bad food.
Yeah.
I barely finished recipe. I had so much sourdough bread last night. Really, you didn't have.
Yeah, you look amazing.
Okay, we have a question. Yeah.
Hi.
Like you, I'm a parent of young children, and I had this leave 2 years ago, so they've been very aware of what I've gone through to get this far. But one of my children has been blessed with my genes and is going to have a very strong weight loss struggle throughout his life. And he's 11. What advice would you give to him?
I think, and everybody's different. Again, like my 7-year-old is, like 5 pounds and 8 feet tall. But my 4-year-old, you can tell he's going to be a big stocky kid. So my wife and I are like, we've got to stay on top of that already. So for me, and doing the MasterChef Junior with kids, of all sizes, it's finding ways to make food exciting, and going, this is where it comes from. Like, let's read about Morocco this week and see what kind of food they make and how to do this. And oh, let's try that over there. And oh, it's fall right now. So here's a list of the 10 ingredients that are coming this season. Let's cook it together. Let's do that. And I think the minute you, I don't know, because everybody responds to things differently, but if it feels like you're judging them, or you get out of the house more and stop, playing, video games and those kind of things, which I think that everyone, knows that this coming generation stays in the house, they stay on their phone, there's no going out and playing anymore, really. So finding ways to make that fun without anyone even knowing. I don't know, and that's what I guess I do with my kids right now, so.
Good answer. All right, we have time for another one? Yes.
There's a bunch in the back.
I just have one suggestion. I know that you have the sleeve and you don't have the dumplings in them, but if you do have a cookbook, can you kind of incorporate for the RNY patients about the sugars?
So do you know what the dumpling is?
Yeah, I mean, certain ingredients that will
Yeah, we'll go right through us.
Yeah.
Okay, so she's saying, hopefully in your cookbook, if you can mention this, like non-dumping.
Well, no, just if you're able to incorporate some of the recipes to not have so much sugars. So that all
So sugar-free recipes.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're requesting sugar-free recipes
Yeah.
that don't cause dumping.
Yes, yeah.
That can be the title.
Well, I mean, that
Dessert.
DOG to like partner with, a nutritionist and a doctor. So, I know what I know, and then there's obviously a million things that I'm not good at or don't know. So surrounding yourself with those people that might be able to say, well, use this instead, or what would you do if you can only use this many ingredients? And that's another thing, is training your mind to to look at challenges as something super fun. Like, there's a band, the White Stripes. I don't know if you guys know them, they're really great, and there's 2 people in the band, a drummer and a singer guitarist, right? No bass, no anything else. And Jack White said that it's so much more fun to have restrictions on you and have to think how to make something out of that. So to me, it's, if I give you a carrot and a piece of chicken and some green beans, what can you come up with? Carrot soup with roasted chicken, a green bean salad, a grilled chicken,
So force yourself to be
so
creative.
force
and have
yourself
fun.
with those, little boundaries around.
Parameters.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, we have a question in the back. Where's it? Oh, okay, he's gonna go right to you guys right after. I promise I'll get you. If not, he's gonna kill me, so.
This is a fun question.
Okay.
So I know you have a lot of tabs. Are you going to get a diagram vertical sleeve as a tab?
That would be so funny. I have my little surgery story, but I'm like trying to convince people that I was shot. I was hanging out with 50 Cent and shit got crazy. You gotta go on the sub story, but that would be really funny to have like a little outline. Yeah.
That was hilarious. Okay, we're gonna go to the back.
Hi, my name is Leilani. I was wondering, as a star, do you go to support groups?
I haven't gone to any support groups, and that's not for any other reason than probably schedule. You know, like I'll be in 4 cities in the next week, so it's hard to dictate where I'm going to be or where I'm at. But I feel that being connected via social media, that's my big support, and I try to do everything to support other people as well. So that's probably, I guess, the answer right now. But you know, for other things that I've dealt with in my life, I have gone to support groups, and I feel that hopefully you guys notice now, I have no problem sharing anything, and I think I probably overshare a lot. So you know, so I whether you're known or not known, like I walk around every day, I'll take pictures with anybody, I fly, you know, Southwest and hang out. Like there's no feeling that you're above anything. You're not supposed to be part of a group. Like I'll go and
just one
share
of the
it.
people.
Yeah, because it could be gone tomorrow. The show's canceled. You're back to being a cook. You're what? Like none of that. You can't ever buy into that kind of stuff.
Yes.
Like, it's all fleeting, and none of it matters. And so,
Absolutely.
you know.
Did you have a food funeral before surgery?
No, like 'cause they make you like eat nothing for like 2 weeks leading up to it. That sucked. That was I'm like surgery was way cooler than that.
What was your last good special meal before your pre-op?
Did you think about that? You said you weren't worried about missing food. Because a lot of us have like our ceremonial, like food when you get to the death chamber.
No,
and the last meal.
Absolutely.
You didn't have
I
that.
think for me, the minute I knew that I was going to have surgery is when I kind of shut that off and started to plan for it. Yeah.
So you eventually got in the game.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if that's the right answer, but really, I knew in my head that the minute I start thinking, well, I'll have whatever, and then I'll finally, it's like, it's not physical, it's all mental. And I know that I have to psych myself out in a certain way just to understand that you have to trick your mind to
Mind games.
to buy
And
into
learn
it,
those
right?
well. Yes.
So, and then you start looking for other people that inspire you. Like right now, I'm very much into Muhammad Ali, like reading about him, listening and watching
You know, he's
speeches.
cool. I don't know.
He's so cool, but like there's so many things you didn't know, right? He's just like the first trash talker and rapper and motivator, and then, you know, like getting into Islam and going against the grain of like, I'm not going to Vietnam, I'm not, you know, you look at that and then you're just like, wow, like, you know, I'm
You
gonna
like
apply that to how rebellious, but
That's what you
just like following the beat of your own drum, and, you know, being an individual, and I don't know. So that's what I'm saying, like you find different things that inspire you and motivate you and push you in ways of discipline. So, that's all.
I love it. Did we have another in the back?
Yeah. Hi.
Hi, quick question. I'm Marie White, and we move every 2.5 to 3 years.
Yes.
And you mentioned, you know, taking a carrot, a piece of chicken, and another item, and making a meal out of it. Sometimes when we move, it's hard to find the foods that I'm used to for my diet. Like when we went to Japan, I had to adjust. Are there any websites that you could suggest that have something like that, where I could put in a couple of different ingredients and
I don't know any websites in general, but what I'll do is if I'm going to a new place, and I never like to travel the same place twice, you know, and so if I'm going, I don't know, say Greece, which I've never been to, so I'll go and Google the town, Google where I'm at, and like look at top restaurants and foods, and then get an understanding of what's there, and then start looking at those ingredients and seeing what goes together. So again, maybe somebody that does music, you'll look at notes and how they flow together. I'll look at ingredients and say, okay, it's August, that means tomatoes, corn, beans, blah, 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 and then start almost arrowing down what goes with what. So if you are moving to Iowa, you look at what town you're in, and I don't think there's a big marine presence in Iowa. Not that, you know, I'm gonna like judge people from Iowa. But you know, just understanding the people, the culture, and what's there, and then maybe how you can work with those just by investigating the ingredients first.
So I think that's a big tip, is that we have to think ahead. You know, before I go to a restaurant, I have to look up their menu, because when you're on the spot, they're hovering over you like a freaking decision already. You sort of go in knowing.
Right. Like I'm flying to Toronto tonight. I've never been there, so I have to.
We have a lot of Canadians here.
Oh, right.
Yes.
So we have something to talk about later. No. But like, I need to like research what's there, what restaurants, what kind of menu do they have, what should I eat?
Is it hard to eat out for you?
Yeah.
Like, because you're like, he's coming.
Like
oh my God,
Japanese
you
food, I
know,
love Japanese. Well, no, well, I mean, people
Come
do,
on,
right?
do they have these?
Yes,
so
people like to
good.
set everything
Yeah.
out to you, so I'll always tell them right away, you know, because almost every restaurant will say, do you have allergies or any of this? And I'll just be like, yeah, I can't, you know, really have any kind of big starch. That's just what I throw out there.
Okay.
You know, when I go to a Japanese restaurant, you know I want that bowl of ramen, but I can't do it. So
Yeah.
it's like, I'm gonna have sashimi, I can't even order sushi because I don't want to eat the rice because it'll fill me up. So, but as long as I know that going into it, I'll feel a lot better, so.
I think we're out of time. How, Lloyd, how, go ahead.
I just was going to ask really quick, shameless question. If I don't ask you this, I'll hate myself the rest of the day. Before you leave, can I have a take a selfie of you?
Yeah, so I can be out here if it's easier and just take pictures.
Okay,
and
we're
answer
gonna wrap
questions.
up because we're out of time, so we're doing one group picture, and then we'll have just, I guess, a couple minutes. You just said that you want to do a group picture with them.
Sure, what do you do?
And then he's on a flight,
We
so.
got one last one.
We have one last question, okay.
I am like you to play a chef at home. After your student, I had a cooking. Once you start cooking after your surgery, how did you keep yourself from tasting too much of what you're cooking so that you don't ruin your own meal? How did you break that kind of balance?
I taste things in really small amounts, and I try to make sure that I'll taste everything that's going on that dish together. So that's one thing I do. But there's other things that I'll eat that I will have to like secretly turn around and spit out. You know, I was at the zoo the other day, and I wanted a pretzel, and I had a pretzel, and then when no one's looking, I chew it up and spit it out. And my wife's like, "You are such a closeted, like, bulimic guy now." I'm just like, don't judge me, you know? Like, I want this pretzel, but I'm not going to sit here and be sick by eating like a small part of it and then not being able to have anything else.
Yeah, so that's a good tip though, to taste it all on one plate a little bit, because I made Thanksgiving for the 1 or a half years out of my surgery. Didn't realize I had a whole dinner before I even sat down. I was like, ham, turkey, I was like, why am I full? You know, so put it all on one plate, taste a little bit of everything on one plate instead of several times each.
Yeah, because everything needs to be harmonious. So Thanksgiving, we have, you know, make sure there's enough salt on the,
that's what I was doing.
outside of the turkey, and then the sweet potatoes are sweet enough, and the cranberry sauce is tart enough.
It can't be poisonous, that's what I say. Okay, all right, did we love him or what?